Welcome to another edition of the dining portion of Dungeons & Dragons and Dining and Dudes, where cooking for your party doesn't have to rely on takeout menus. Today we're covering the table with loads of things, but thankfully this recipe for pesto chicken and pasta, along with some garlic bread, can be done in advance and won't take more than 30 minutes. It's carbs, it's protein, it's fresh herbs, it's delicious. Breaking the ingredients up, of course we'll need fresh basil, oil, cheese, garlic, and pine nuts for our pesto, though almonds and walnuts can also be used, and Parmesan cheese can be substituted instead of Pecorino. Just be sure you get the fresh stuff and not something that comes in a green jar. Garlic bread is optional, but it always goes well with a pasta dish. For this, all you need is a little bit of butter and garlic. Soften up the butter a bit, and mix in your garlic and let it sit for about 10 to 15 minutes for a nice flavorful kick. Finally, for our chicken and pasta, all you need to do is dice up some chicken breast and have everything ready to go once we begin. For the pasta, I went with rigatoni, but honestly, any pasta can really work for this. Thin spaghetti works. If you want to try something else, by all means, go crazy. Let's hop right into our first step, which is making our pesto sauce. This can be done a couple hours prior, or even the day or a couple days before. I did this early in the morning and left the pesto in the fridge, but if you want to plan a day or two in advance, go ahead and pop it in the freezer to keep things as fresh as possible. Pesto is super easy to make and can be made with a blender or even mortar and pestle if you enjoy a good arm workout. I start with the basil and oil first, blend it a bit, then add in the garlic and nuts, blend it a little bit more, then finally adding in the cheese. Every time I blend and stop, I push down just to make sure we're getting things as blended as possible. As you can see towards the end of this blending, my pesto is on the little thick side, so I add a little bit more oil at the end. The thickness of the pesto is up to you, but when we do use this, we're going to be using a little bit of liquid to allow this pesto to cover both our chicken and pasta, so don't stress if it's on the thicker side. Finally, and at the end, we want to add a little bit of salt and pepper, about a teaspoon of each, and pour everything out and put it onto the side, or into the fridge if you're doing this earlier in the day. For our bread, it's nothing fancy. Butter the bread with our butter and garlic combo, sprinkle a little paprika and cheese, preheat your oven to 375, and let it cook for 12 to 15 minutes while we're cooking our chicken here. However, before we start cooking our chicken, make sure you go ahead and put a pot of water on for the pasta and let that start to boil. While that's cooking, we can dump our chicken into the pan at medium heat and fit as much as we can without overcrowding it. I had to do this in 2 batches, but no worries. Just let it cook for about 5 minutes and then start flipping some pieces over. Hopefully by the time your first batch is done, your water will start to boil and you can throw your pasta into the pot. Don't forget about your garlic bread. If it's ready, take it out and put it on the side for now. You'll see here I'm also adding some sun-dried tomatoes to the dish after all my chicken has been cooked. It's optional, as I know not everyone's a fan, but they do add some more color to the dish and a little bit of acidity as well, but it's not a make it or break it ingredient. Once all your chicken is cooked and your tomatoes are in, you can start adding a little dollop of pesto. We want enough to get our chicken coated, so don't feel the need to add it all at once. As they say, a little dab will do ya. If your pesto seems a little bit thick, you can add a tablespoon of pasta water to thin things out a bit. Just stir and add a little as necessary, and once fully coated, we're going to put this on the side and add it to our pot of pasta. Once your pasta is ready, drop it like it's hot and start combining everything together. As you start to stir, go ahead and add additional pesto to the pot. The greener the better, I always say. And there you have it. Fresh, easy to make pesto with chicken, pasta, and some garlic bread. This recipe should be plenty for at least 5 to 6 people. Obviously, if you have more, feel free to add additional chicken and pasta to the dish. The pesto made for this dish should accommodate up to 6 to 8 dishes easy. Pound for pound, this is probably one of the more filling and least expensive dishes you can make for a group of people getting ready to dive into a 4-hour tabletop session. It's zero stress, can be prepped in advance, and takes little time to cook. As always, let me know how your version turns out and if you add any of your own varieties to it. For more recipes and D&D fun, stomp that like button, flick the subscribe button, and I'm your DM, host, and cook Justin. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.